Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Nick Marro here with Smitty and Occupy Fantasy. As always, they'll help you break down tonight's NBA DFS main slate on both DraftKings and FanDuel. This is the last slate before the All-Star break. We're going to be out over the weekend and into next week. So, yeah, money on the table. Got to grab it tonight if we want it headed into the weekend. Smitty, how you feeling about this slate overall? And just to mention quickly, this slate does not lock until 8 p.m. Eastern. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty good slate. Kind of get it done quick within about an hour. Um, but yeah, I think planning for just kind of some late news is a pretty good edge on this slate, and maybe we get some news early as well.
Yeah, I mean, historically, going into the All Star break, a lot of these teams on back to backs too, with pretty much everybody playing yesterday. We're going to see some guys get rested, even though they're healthy. The Warriors have come out and said that they may just bench all their vets tonight. There's a lot of big names on this slate that are questionable. Again, they're healthy. It's just going into the break. They might just give them kind of some rest on the back to backs. But yeah, we'll go through, we'll break things down. And as news comes through and changes things, we'll certainly update you guys. Appreciate everyone in chat. We got Jose in here as always. Definitely appreciate it. Here for the money. Hell yeah, Jose. Jerry Tanner saying great job last night. Yes, Smitty, you had a couple great lineups I saw on Discord. I did all right, but yeah, man, talk through some of your success yesterday.
Yeah, I think just some of it was late swap, and then a lot of the plays I was on, they hit. So
That
uh,
works.
yeah,
Hell
I
yeah.
wish it would have been in
Uh,
a bigger tournament, but we'll take it.
yeah. My best lineup, I think, it was in a $5 single entry. It was like top 20, but obviously, I don't know. You can't get you can't get hard on yourself for contest selection if you're playing a bunch. But yeah, interestingly, we got some interesting chalk here. We'll definitely talk through. Alvarado is going to be a big talking point, but let's start with this Golden State and Warriors game. We got two games that lock at 8 o'clock, two games at 8:30, and then one at 9. So, like you said, it's going to be a pretty condensed slate, almost a turbo slate for those who are familiar with that format. But yeah, on the Warriors side of things, right now, Kuminga's the only guy in the injury report, which is interesting. Usually, all these guys would be listed as questionable for rest or whatever, but Kerr has nobody on. So for now, I guess we have to kind of assume they're in. I don't know, man. We almost have to talk about the Warriors twice, right? Like if they're in and they're healthy, I think Draymond, Butler, Curry all look fine. You could go to Heald. But if they do rest the vets, and I think there's a decent chance they do, things get pretty interesting. I mean, do we see Podzimski and Moody starting? Does Heald get rest? Is he one of the vets that Kirk considers a guy that deserves some time off or not? Is Guy Santos sliding the starting lineup? TJD, does he get involved again? I mean, I don't know. Do you have a hunch here? I tend to think these guys sit, but it is strange that none of them are on the injury report.
Yeah, not on the injury report, so I kind of think they play, but and close spread as well, but not
Yeah.
100%. I never trust Kerr, so
Yeah.
I'm just prepared for anything to happen. But if they do all play, um, I don't mind getting to a little bit of Healed and some Dre is fine with me. And then Moses Moody, his minutes have been okay. I don't mind him as a GPP play.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. Jimmy Butler too, I think is definitely worth considering. I mean, his price has come up a little bit. Certainly rejuvenated since he made this move to Golden State, though. Back-to-back games over 40 fantasy points, usage pushing 30%, and he's been getting to the foul line a ton, which is obviously a good thing as well for fantasy. 8K both sites, very low owned, and he fills a forward position that's a little bit tougher to fill than center or guard. So I do like him. But again, I mean, we could talk about these starters that we like before we know it. We could be just talking about backups. So for now, I guess we just kind of lean into what we do if these guys are playing. The fact they're not in the injury report kind of tells us that will be the case here. But again, Steve Kerr can never really trust that guy. Over on the Houston side of things, still no Fred VanVleet, obviously. It looks like they're also without Tari Eason. Jabari Smith still out as well. No Cody Zeller. Not that he's really a needle mover by any stretch. It looks like Aaron Holiday is projected to start at point guard. I don't have a ton of interest, but if we don't get that Golden State value, he may become more interesting. More than anything, I really do like Eamon Thompson. I know the price is up on him. Kind of shocked he's more popular on FanDuel than DK right now. I get that you don't have shooting guard eligibility over there, but it shouldn't really matter. He's a guy you can play a guard or forward. 8,600. He's been an absolute beast. Not a bad matchup either. Relatively high total. So Thompson looks great. And Jalen Green continues to go overlooked compared to Thompson. I think these two are kind of the premier plays here. Obviously, you can mix in Sengun. The minutes have just been kind of all over the place with him. Dylan Brooks is fine as like a last piece in, but I love these guards here, Thompson and Green. And then Cam Whitmore off the bench. Prices come up a bit, but he's someone with both Eason and Smith out who should probably become a part of our night. We'll have to wait and see. But how are you going to handle the Rockets, man? I really, really do like Thompson and Green.
Yeah, that's mainly where I'm at too. I do like Whitmore as a value play on a short slate for now, but you are taking up a roster spot early, which is something to consider. And then Dylan Brooks as well. He kind of just a filler for your lineup. And then yeah, like you mentioned, I think Amon Thompson, Jalen Green, they both look really good. I don't mind getting to some Sengun either at his ownership.
Let me ask you this: if Aaron Holiday gets the start here, are you interested in him at all as a value play?
No,
Mhm. I'm
I,
with you.
I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't touch him.
Yeah, I mean, he's just never really great in terms of fantasy production. I definitely talked him into a good game. I was like, yeah, I will never play this guy. I think he had one good game this season. It was on a day I was streaming, but that's not enough for me to kind of flip my opinion of him. I would love for Reed Shepard to start and get those minutes. I don't think we're going to see that though. So probably just stick with the guys that we know are actually good on Houston. And again, if Golden State rests a bunch of guys, maybe Houston follows suit and gives some of these guys rest. But yeah, they're trying to win games. I mean, it's Ime Udoka, all business with him, unless we're talking about off the court. Moving into the next game here at 8 o'clock, we got the Kings taking on the Pelicans. Kings, surprisingly, no one on their injury report either, just a couple G Leaguers. So this is a team that's healthier than they've been pretty much all season. We got Monk, Sabonis, Murray, DeRozan, Levine as the starters. Keon Ellis even getting some love here coming off the bench. Had some really good games lately. Yeah, last game, 29 minutes, 43 fantasy points on both sides. Obviously, great value there. But this is a tough team to kind of parse through. They almost feel like the Celtics of the West in a way, and that every night one or two of these guys are probably going to go off. It's just tough to kind of pick amongst them. For me, I think Monk's my favorite just because been the most consistent. At the same time, we've seen ceilings out of DeRozan and Sabonis. Not DeRozan and stuff to say more often. Certainly Sabonis more often. But I think a case can be made for any of the starters here. And I have some interest in Keon if we don't get more value to open up. At the same time, it does feel a little bit chasey to be playing him off the bench coming off that ridiculous game he had against New Orleans. But how are you handling the Kings here? Definitely one of the healthier teams on the board tonight.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. Like one of them probably has a good game, but it's tough to really say who. I'm pretty even on all the main four starters, and then Keegan's actually my highest exposed king right now. Just because we don't have a ton of value, I think he's an
Mhm.
okay play. He's going to play the minutes, so I don't mind going to Keegan, and then all the rest are just kind of fine. I probably prefer Sabonis if I have the salary, but
Mhm.
like you said, Monk's probably the next best option.
Yeah, and I do want to bring this up about Kean Ellis as well off the bench. If you're considering playing him as value, I don't know how much this matters, but Markel Fultz is going to be making his Kings debut tonight. Didn't realize he was on Sacramento till the other day, but he is in and available. Probably a guy who could take up some backup guard minutes from someone like Ellis, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, with you, man, definitely the starters here more than anything. On the New Orleans side of things, they're missing some key pieces for sure. No Zion tonight. Brandon Boston's going to be out. Herbert Jones out for, I think, the season. DeJounte Murray, Kelly Olynyk are going to be out here as well. So this is a team we already know that we can find some value. Jose Alvarado, chalkiest play on the slate. This guy's been very tough to project. I think with Zion out, he does look good. I don't want him in all of my lineups. He probably will be in my main, like higher dollar single entries, though, just because, again, we're still waiting on more value. Coming off a game where he played 32 minutes against Sacramento and threw for over 40 fantasy points. Game before that got the start, stunk against OKC, but that's OKC. We could kind of excuse him there. But yeah, man, this is definitely a team I want to be heavily exposed to. Trey Murphy, even with the price increase, probably my favorite play here. But you can make a case for McCollum. You can make a case for Missy. And then Carlo Matkovic has been really a talking point on a lot of these streams. I think he's cheap enough to mix in. Yeah, man, this team looks good. I mean, we even have Bruce Brown and Hawkins coming off the bench that look like pretty decent value. How are you going to kind of prioritize these Pelicans?
Yeah, pretty much where I'm at too. I think Alvarado looks like a good mid-range value play. Same matchup as last night, and then Misi with no Zion, I think looks like a good center play. Over the field on him, and then Matkovic, I'm kind of mixing in. I like Trey Murphy today, and then off the bench, I do have interest in Bruce Brown. I have a little bit of Hawkins, but I kind of like Bruce Brown, and I think he's a pretty good GPP play. And then I'm under the field on CJ currently.
Yeah, the price increase for CJ has me off him as well. I mean, he does have upside though. If no one's going to play him on DK, I do think he's someone I want to mix in. 12% does feel pretty low for a 5 game slate, but yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I like Murphy a lot. Really like Alvarado, even though he's a little scary. But same matchup as last night, like you said, and he did really do well there. But yeah, it's good we have the news here already. Let's take a look at chat and see what we got going on. So yeah, Bruce is saying they could play the vets only in the first half. That would be a nightmare. In which case, maybe go ahead and bet all their unders right now. That is something I don't know that Kerr's done in the past. The Nets did it last year famously with Mikal Bridges one game. I know it was a big talking point on Twitter. Everyone crushed the books that day. But yeah, man, I could see it if they start. At the same time, like I don't know if they're gonna play. Like, why not just play the game? It would be kind of weird to put them out there for a half and then probably lose. Like, I don't really see the value in that. Do you have any hunch on that, Smitty? I mean, it is an interesting point. Definitely worth talking about.
Yeah, I don't think he would do that, but
Yeah,
I'd be pretty crazy if he did.
I know, right? Yeah, it would definitely burn you if you did have Golden State. But again, I think they either just completely rest them or they let them go. Heath, another regular here, saying, "What's up? How's it going?" Heath, Grimes and Levert putting up 50 points. Shame they couldn't do that before the trades. Yeah, I know I was pretty bullish on Grimes yesterday. Certainly haven't been getting to Levert, but yeah, it's like he's got a chip on his shoulder now over in Atlanta. Good to see. Um, Jose, you guys are definitely careful using that L word. Any near locks? Smitty, I'll give you this one first. I don't know that I have any. Anyone you're close to locking in tonight? Oh, you're on mute, bro.
Not on this slate. I don't think anyone's that good of a play like to lock in.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, even looking at ownership, the field isn't getting to anyone over 50%, which is hilarious because we had Bull at like 70% yesterday on a 14 game slate. Only 5 games today. Highest owned player on FanDuel is Prosper. I do like him a lot here. Again, we'll talk about Dallas in a minute. Alvarado, just not the type of player you ever want to lock in. I think 50%. Getting a little over the field on him, I'm comfortable with. I really like Max Christie tonight more than I should, but again, none of these guys are really getting that L word. Shouts out to all the lovers out there. We got Valentine's Day tomorrow. SJ here. Be like me. Like on the way in. Yes, SJ. Shouts out to you, man. Guys, definitely appreciate the likes. If you get them on the video here, it helps us keep this free content coming out to you into the All Star break and afterwards. Subscribe to the channel as well so you always know when we're going live. Thompson sucks on back to backs. This is interesting, Seymour. Usually I would just kind of glaze over this. I'm going to look into it though. We have the time today. So he's played a few recently. Eighth and ninth, Dallas, Toronto. 40 points against Dallas, 34 against Toronto. Didn't really take many shots. Third and fourth against the Knicks and then Brooklyn, 37 minutes, 39. 64 points against the Knicks, 35 against Brooklyn. So far, I mean, what you're saying is kind of true. 27th against Boston and then 28th against Atlanta. Same pattern, half the points the next day. I mean, man, usually this is not the type of thing I would put any weight on. But the last 4 back-to-backs, it is true. But if we go back to the 15th against Denver, played 34 minutes, only had 30 fantasy points. Against Sacramento, he did get over 46 fantasy points. Scrolling back, I mean, he had 2 decent games, 26th, 27th. I don't know. There might be something to that. This is a guy who really leaves it all on the court. At the same time, he's so young. Like, you really don't want to think of professional NBA players having issues in back to backs. Then again, some of the big stars are these guys with general soreness or rest and load management, all those fun buzzwords. But yeah, man, I think personally, I still want to get to some Thompson. But if that's a reason to get off him at a high price, I don't mind it. But Smitty, any take on this? I mean, to who is it? Seamar's credit here, the last 4 back-to-backs, it is kind of a pattern. Eamon has struggled on the second half.
Yeah, not something I really put a whole lot into account too because the sample size is so small. But maybe if there was a larger sample size.
Yeah, again, I think 4 of the last 5 he's struggled. I don't know if it's just the matchups or what, but Seymour, I mean, hey, if you can find a reason to fade chalk in a small slate, go ahead and do it. Mike here saying Butler pooped his pants in the lie. Yeah, I did see that clip. Shouts out Paul Pierce as well. Always fun to get into those conspiracies. Late nights suck for Big J. Need some help badly. Well, the good news, man, is it's the last night before the break. You either win, you go into the break feeling good, or we can reset, come back afterwards, and hit the ground running. Um, what's this? Anyone going to see the new Cap movie? It's not that good. No spoilers. Just take my word for it. Yeah, I'm going to see some like I don't know Valentine's horror movie tomorrow. It's probably gonna be terrible. Is what it is. I don't know what the new Cap movie is. I don't know. Late again, Unicorn, Big J. Big J, very talkative today. I appreciate you, bro. I remember your first day in here, and here we are at the All Star break. I play one lineup in my contest, so all my plays are locks. Hey, CW, on these smaller slates, yeah, that's kind of tough, but on the bigger slates, we always preach you should like every play in your lineup. I had to stop going to the movie. A lot of movie talk here, guys. I guess we got time, but I went and see my date swipe my elbow. I was sleeping during the movie half and three times. Yeah, man. Maybe have a coffee beforehand. Smitty, I don't know if you have any comments on this. I hate to just rip through these, but just everyone having fun here heading into the break. And how much do we like Collier? I'll give you that one if you want to get a little more serious.
Um, I don't have any on. Well, I have 1% on DraftKings. FanDuel, I have a couple percent. I think he's okay. He's just kind of priced appropriately, in my opinion.
Mhm. No, I tend to agree.
I really
We'll get
like
to
him.
that game. Though. What's that?
I like him as a player. Just
Yeah.
on this slate, it don't really seem like you need to get there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good guard value. He's priced up. So let's go into this 8:30 window now. We got two games here. First, we got Miami taking on the Mavericks. Miami, a team with a lot of injury news. Gonna pull them up here. So Bam is questionable. Jovic is probable. No Kevin Love, Terry Rozier, Drew Smith, or Andrew Wiggins, excuse me. Duncan Robinson probable as well. So yeah, Jovic's minutes lately seem to be getting cut a bit since this trade, but I think he's going to be good to go again here tonight. With Wiggins out, I definitely like him. Bam is going to be very kind of pivotal. If he's in, I think he looks great. Obviously, Dallas super thin in the front court right now. This would be a smash matchup for him. But if he's out, I think Khalil Ware is going to see a big boost. But yeah, man, this team is pretty interesting. I think they look good. It is the lowest total on the slate. I do want to mention that, but they are thinner than a lot of these other squads. Tyler Hero looks pretty solid where he's priced. I never trust Davion Mitchell. Maybe I need to start because he's had some good games lately. How are you going to handle the Miami Heat? And you have a hunch on Bam? You think he's in or out?
Yeah, it's kind of tough with an illness tag, like probably just a legit 50-50. It's been
Yeah.
going around the locker room pretty bad. And then one thing I'll mention too is they could be even a little shorter. Like Jaime Jaquez was he just DMP'd yesterday. He was active, but he wasn't on the injury report. I don't know if he'll play tonight or not. So he's pretty risky if you decide to play him. But it kind of helps the surrounding guys. Like Davion Mitchell played like 37, 35, 37 minutes yesterday.
Mhm.
So I don't mind getting there. Not definitely not like my first click in the lineup, but I don't mind him. Bam, if he's in, I do like him. Dallas don't even have a center, so seems like a
Yeah.
pretty good spot. And as for the rest of this team, it's mainly Jovic, and then kind of just wait on news and see what we get.
Yeah, there's one more player I want to ask you about. We only have him for 18 minutes here. If he starts, I think he's going to be great value. We're going to see the minutes and the ownership go up. Right now, Alex Burks, 1% owned on DK, 0% on FanDuel, 3 games in a row where he's over 23, 24 fantasy points. He's been hitting value consistently, just super aggressive off the bench. He's obviously scoring dependent, but even with the sub 20% usage, we're seeing him get there. I don't know. I think he could play a few more minutes than we're projecting him for tonight, even if these guys are in. At the same time, obviously coming off the bench, he could get DMP'd like Jaime last night. It's kind of tough to say. But any interest in Alec Burks? I know the model doesn't like him right now, but I could see that maybe changing if we get one more guy ruled out.
Yeah, at his price, I don't mind it at all. I think he's a pretty good GPP play.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, Robinson's probably going to get the start, but his minutes have been all over the place. They don't like closing with him. I don't think they like closing with Burks either. But yeah, I think whoever starts, you could feel good about. And then Jovic, even if he doesn't start, I really do like a lot tonight. Over on the Dallas side of things, like you said, no centers available. Gafford out, Anthony Davis out, and Derek Lively and Dwight Powell. Pretty much anyone who is actually a center is unavailable. And then the guy who they try to get to play center with all these guys out and PJ Washington's out. Clay is questionable. Kyrie is questionable. Dante Exum is questionable as well. So kind of similar to the Warriors, except these guys actually are on the injury report. They maybe just rest some of their bigger names tonight. I think no matter what, I'm going to like Max Christie. I think he's been super productive since he's come over to Dallas. Obviously, increased the usage here, not having to play next to LeBron and or AD. He's going to look good. And then Maxine Prosper, one of the better value plays on the slate, I think, especially over on FanDuel, where he's a little bit cheaper. The minutes have kind of been all over the place for him, but again, this team has no one big right now. I think the second biggest guy is Kyler Kelly. I don't know that they're really rushing to get him any minutes. So Prosper is going to probably be kind of squeezed for all he's worth. Kessler Edwards, shouts out former net. He's cheap enough to maybe mix in. Not my favorite value play, but man, I think we have to like some Dallas. And it's weird. Like this game has the lowest total, but I think I'm going to be maybe heavy here in terms of exposure on both sides. But how are you going to handle these Mavericks? And you got any hunch on Kyrie, Clay, if they're going to be in or not?
Yeah, I plan on being pretty heavy on Dallas. Kind of one of the late news that I want to target.
Mhm.
Um, it just feels like a spot where they just rest these guys going into All Star break, but not 100% sure if anyone is going to sit. Like I think it would be Kyrie. Clay might play, but it seems kind of pointless to play him at this point.
Mhm.
But right now, personally, I'm boosting Najee. I want to get more Najee in my lineups, and then like you mentioned, Omax I think is a good play, and then Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie, I assume would continue to start and be a pretty good option. Only 5K on DK. I think he's a pretty solid play to get overweight on.
Yeah, I'm with you. Dinwiddie more just if Kyrie's out. But yeah, I think regardless, Marshall looks really, really solid. So yeah, all the starters here. I mean, you could probably leave Kessler Edwards out, not historically a great producer, but if you're trying to jam in stars and scrubs, at least we know he's probably going to push 27, 28 minutes. So really good game here in spite of the total. Another game at 8:30 here. We got the Thunder taking on the Timberwolves. On the Thunder side of things, Caruso is out, as is Topich, Wallace, Mitchell, Jiang, pretty much the guys who've been out the past few weeks. Otherwise, they're healthy, good to go. The spread a little bit tighter than I was expecting. But yeah, I mean, SGA is SGA on a slate lacking kind of pay up options. I think he looks really solid. He's leading the slate, off index slightly ahead of Sabonis and Harden. We also have Jalen Williams, who's been fine. Obviously, with Chet in the lineup, these guys are going to lose a little bit of usage. But yeah, no one really getting to them in terms of the field and ownership. Not the best matchup, but yeah, I'm fine taking shots on like Williams and SGA. I don't know that I get to much else. Are you going to get to any of these Thunder?
Not really. They're my lowest exposed team right now. Just not really getting there. They're kind of priced appropriately, and then you throw Chet back into the mix. Like you said, they're just all going to lose a little bit of usage, and then kind of lost minutes for like Aaron Wiggins or some of these secondary plays. But if you could play SGA, I mean, I think he's a good play.
Yeah, I think SEA is really the one. I wanted to maybe get to Jalen Williams. I just think there's better options in that range. As for Chet, yeah, he's cutting into everyone. Not really a play yet, though. We have him for 28 minutes. I don't even know if he gets to that, but even with the price discount, he's not really someone I have much interest in. So, OKC, certainly not one of the more appealing teams on the slate. Whenever you get low owned SGA, though, definitely somebody you can consider. On the Timberwolves side of things, still a little bit banged up. No, or Mike Conley's questionable. I thought he'd be out today. He was kind of a late scratch yesterday. Randall's out. Gobert questionable. Edwards questionable as well. So another team considering resting their starters already without Randall. We've seen Nas put up some decent numbers in this starting lineup. Not a great matchup here, but I'm fine mixing him in. Jaden McDaniels as well, kind of a similar play, not quite the same consistency or upside, but he is someone who's been benefiting with Randall out. Then yeah, we kind of have to wait on news. I mean, if Gobert's out, do we see Luke Garza started center, or do they just slide Reed down, bring in Alexander Walker? Could we see maybe, I don't know, if Conley and Edwards are out, are we going to get Dillingham? Again, just another team we kind of have to wait and see on. And the kicker here is just that it's going to be a terrible matchup for these backups if some of these guys are ruled out. I almost want Minnesota to just play their starters. But yeah, how are you handling the Timberwolves? Another team that's really kind of tricky to parse through.
Yeah, they're pretty tough. Just with these Q tags, they're pretty important. I I would assume Ant plays. Just he's a tough dude. He normally plays, but Gobert's kind of played a lot of minutes recently. He's the one I'm kind of unsure about. And then Conley, I kind of figure they just rest him going into the All Star break, but maybe not. But like you said, I think they would slide Nas down to the 5, and then either slide in Na into the starting lineup and move some
Yeah.
pieces around, or they could start Clark. There's a few different ways they could go, but they like to play it tight. He mainly only plays guys he trusts, so whoever is starting or is a good part of the rotations probably a pretty good play. But currently, I'm overweight on Anthony Edwards. I think he's a pretty solid play today. And then Nas, just kind of hoping he starts at center.
Yeah, Edwards has been a beast with Randall out. Just a little bit extra usage for him has gone a long way. Back to back games over 40% usage for him. So really solid in spite of the matchup. Totally fine getting to Edwards. But again, another game we're kind of waiting on news going into the break. Don't be surprised if the coach is like, you know what, guys, go enjoy the time off. Obviously, Edwards got the All Star game, but wouldn't be surprised to see someone like Gobert get rested. Taking a quick look at chat. We already answered Collier Sev saying, no DFS going to smack the sports books. Still want to drop in and show love. Definitely appreciate that, man. I know DK has some of these SGP boosts. I've been playing those. But yeah, last night they have this like king of the court thing. Anyone who picked Jamal Murray got $6,000+ in bonus bets. I had one on Brunson earlier in the year. They gave me 400. I thought that was sharp, but it's good to have a DFS mind in those things. If you could find a guy that can win, and what you need to do to win is have the most points, rebounds, assists combined. That isn't going to be popular. You saw last night Murray 6K in bonus bets to like the 30 or 40 people that had him. So shouts out to DK and putting that promotion out. Utah pulls Markin and Collins after lock because they haven't played a back-to-back since November. That would be uncool. Power, I totally agree. But again, I mean, they have all these days to rest coming up. If there were ever a time they could play it, it would be here. But yeah, after lock, obviously not ideal. Collier's been playing good. Um, yeah, Jose, just never look at TK or FanDuel for injury news. Check the official NBA site or Underdog's Twitter. That's really the way to go, man. And I know it's convenient because we're already in the apps building, but they're just historically bad at reporting injuries. When did Simmons go to the Clippers? The Nets bought him out after the deadline. Not like it matters. Yeah. As a Nets fan, I like that his contract's gone, but who cares? Big J winning $30 on golf. Love to hear it. And yeah, we'll lay in for stars and scrubs at the end, Courtney. I think we could do that. We got plenty of time today. Just one more game to get through. If you guys have any specific questions about what to do with X players out or who do we like between a few guys, let us know. We got some time today. Yesterday was I did not envy you two, you and Chuck being on that 14 game stream. Uh, yeah, I hate when we have to turn on the auctioneer voices and talk like we're in 2x speed. But yeah, 5 games today. We got some time for you guys if you need it. Last game on the slate here, we got the Clippers taking on the Utah Jazz. Nice, healthy 228.5 point total. Clippers favored on the road. I think both these teams on back to backs. On the Clippers side of things, Kawhi is getting rest. No Drew Eubanks. Amir Coffey, questionable as well. Not that that's super significant. What it does mean, though, is we probably see, and I don't know that Coffee affects this at all, we probably see Chris Dunn start again, coming off his best game in a long time. Only played 20 minutes, but still got the 36 fantasy points. I think his value, if you're waiting for news to break late and it doesn't go your way, you're not getting some of the value plays maybe you hope for Miami or Minnesota. Chris Dunn's someone you can kind of use as a filler. I don't mind him. Derek Jones Jr., kind of similar play. But yeah, I'm always going to like Powell and Zubac when Kawhi's out. Harden's fine, but I do prefer Powell and Zoo of the two in terms of point per dollar. But those three look good to me. Again, fine mixing in Dunn and Jones. Not super bullish on either. But if you're waiting for late news, that's kind of your, I don't know, escape route if you want to go to those value guys. But how are you going to handle the Clippers here, Smitty?
Yeah, I like that point. Either like if you start with Dunn or Jones, or if you end up on them, I think they're fine. And then, like if you start on them, it just gives you more flexibility to swap for the news that we get. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're good plays to be overweight on for that purpose. And then they're not bad plays either way. But yeah, I think Zubac is a pretty good center to get to. And then James Harden, kind of one of my more exposed higher end players. I don't mind getting there. No Kawhi, and then Norm Powell, like you said, I think he's a pretty good option as well.
Yeah, that big three looks great. And like you said, those two guys kind of open things up if we're waiting to late swap. Utah, Power mentioned Laurie and Collins haven't been playing back to back, so we got to kind of wait and see. But on the injury report, Sexton is out, KJ Martin's out, Jordan Clarkson's out. Those wings aren't. Excuse me, just drank water too fast. Those wings aren't on the injury report. But yeah, I mean, Keontae George, whenever these other guards are out, even coming off the bench, he's been really solid. I do like him in terms of upside. We probably see Svi get the start here. He's kind of another one of these guys that you can use, like a Derek Jones or Chris Dunn, maybe even more upside. But yeah, lower floor. The minutes haven't been there consistently for him. I think if Kessler's in, he's good. I think if Laurie's in, he's fine. But yeah, I think Collier, I like him. The price increase does have me kind of pumping the brakes a bit though. But yeah, I do like building in Utah because again, we're kind of waiting for some of this news in these 8:30 games. We might not have it at 8 o'clock when the slate locks. So kind of using more Utah kind of gets us there. But I think Keontae, best play from this team, but fine mixing in the starters here. Smitty, how are you handling the Utah Jazz?
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I'm getting to the most of Keontae. I think Collier's an okay play. It's just his price is kind of hard because I feel like Keontae has a higher ceiling. He
Yeah.
just does more offensively. And then there's like a few good GPP plays on this team. Like you can kind of mix them all around, but I think John Collins is pretty decent. 6,900 on DraftKings. Walker Kessler, pretty tough matchup for both centers, but they probably both play pretty solid minutes. So I don't mind getting to Walker Kessler as well.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And yeah, Collins hasn't played a back to back since November, but if he's in, I think he's excellent here. And again, these guys are off for almost a week, so you would think they could just let him go tonight. But one last look at chat, and then we will get to a dummy build here. Big J saying thanks for the help as always. Appreciate you. Thoughts on Bogdanovich and Collier? We talked about Collier, Jim. I think we both like him, but we prefer Keontae George. Bogdanovich, I think he's still playing limited minutes. I saw. Only played 18 against Memphis. I think he's going to be capped around 20, 22 minutes. So Bogdan's a no for me. How about you, Smitty?
Yeah, just tough to get to at his price. If Coffee's out and we up his minutes projection a little, like if he's not capped, then I would have some interest.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I thought I saw a report today that he was still going to be limited. I'd have to double check that, but I'm sure whatever we have him projected for is going to stay pretty accurate either way. But yeah, let's go ahead and do a dummy. So looking at OF index, we had Courtney ask if we could do kind of a stars and scrubs just to kind of squeeze out some value here. But it's tricky. Like, there's not really any superstars unless we force an SGA. I don't know that I want to do that. You mentioned you like Harden. I'm fine with him. Um, but yeah, this is kind of tricky. Like, who are your favorite payups today?
I like Harden and Ant.
All right. Yeah, I love Ant if he's in. I do think there's a chance he sits, but let's go with Harden and Ant for the sake of the show. I mean, the one thing is, did they take away Ant's? Yeah, it's point guard, shooting guard now. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. All right. Who we going into next? I mean, value or I don't know. A lot of
Probably
this again.
Alvarado.
Yeah, Alvarado. Yeah, so we're filling up all the guard spots. I mean, let me pull in, go Jose here, go Edwards as shooting guard. Definitely with you on that. Let's see. I love Max Christie tonight. I think he's going to smash. I'm going to put
Yeah,
him
I
in
like
small
that.
forward. Cool. Around 5K. So we got to stick with some value if we can. We probably have one more like 7, 8K play if we need to. Um, I mean, I do like Prosper.
That's what I was gonna say. Prosper or Najee, either one.
I think we could go both, honestly. Um, I was gonna say Whitmore if we didn't go to Najee, but actually, let's do this. Let's see what Whitmore affords us at center. 6,400. I mean, where if Bam's out? Yeah, not crazy about that kind of pricing range. I mean, if we go Missy, who I don't mind, we're looking at God. This is kind of gross. I mean, Keegan Murray's not bad. Probably be the guy. Again, there's a chance Golden State rests everyone, and we're completely scrapping this lineup for like pods. I don't know. Any hot takes on center? Anyone you want in there, or anything at utility? I mean, I'm trying to balance these two spots. It's a little bit tricky. Or we could pull Marshall for Whitmore, maybe upgrade a little.
Yeah, we could do that. I like Misi. I think he's pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, let's go Musi. And I'm not pulling Marshall because I don't like him. I think he's good. Just trying to get a little bit more balance. And then 6,700 for utility. That should put us in a better range. Clarkson's out. I mean, Hartenstein, though. I mean, if Gobert's in, like, this is not perfect, but I guess McDaniels is fine. We both like George. We got 400 left over. Probably look to upgrade somewhere, but decent build. Anything glaring here you don't like?
No, I think it's all pretty good.
Nice, man. I'm with you. Again, guys, we're really waiting on a lot of news here. I mean, things can definitely change. Courtney's saying Chris Dunn. Yeah, like as a last piece in, Chris Dunn works. Um, and yeah, can we do a balance build? Yeah, let's do it for the gang here, guys, going into the break. Quick clear here. So let's say we're not going to use anyone over, what, 9K? Is that balanced? I mean, again, this all depends on the slate. So last time we went with Ant and Harden. Let's have our most expensive player this time be, I don't know. What are you thinking? Maybe Zubac, Murphy.
Yeah, probably Zoo.
Let's go with Zoo. All right, so we're probably still going to Alvarado. We're probably still going to Prosper. I'll. Last time I pulled your Najee Marshall. We'll put him back in. I really like him. I do like Christie still. Um, Now we're left with 73 per, so we got a lot to work with.
Yeah. Um,
I mean, Keontae.
yeah, we could do that.
I like that. Then yeah, I mean we're going balance, but now we're getting in more guys in the 7 8K range. I know I really like Jimmy if he's in. I don't know if he will be though. Powell looks good since we had a Harden last time. Maybe we do that. And yeah, oh Murphy, Butler, Bam. I mean
Yeah, I
this is
like
pretty
that.
damn good balance build as well. I almost like this better than the first build.
Yeah, I do
Um,
too.
Yeah. So, guys, I appreciate you kind of pushing that on us tonight. We maybe balance is the way to go here. CW, who's tonight's Obi Toppin? Spin up for Halliburton instead, like a fool. Yeah, that was a tough one, man. I was super heavy on Thomas Bryant. It worked out. Toppin was the better play. I don't know. I'd say how popular was Toppin yesterday? Do you remember his ownership? I
He
don't.
was 4% on FanDuel. That's the only side I played.
Okay. Yeah. So as far as like low end guys, I mean, if Draymond's in, he might fit that category. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to see who's not popular. Like it's much tougher to find an Obi Toppin on a 4 game slate than it is on a 14 game slate. CW, I will say that because there's just less to choose from, so everyone's going to be more popular. I love Max Chrissy. He's chalky though. Um, I don't know. Any hot takes here, Smitty? Any kind of lower mid range plays that aren't getting enough low?
I think ownership's going to change a lot, so it's kind of hard right now. Like off right now, I'd say Najee.
Yeah, I'm with you. The model says Matkovich. I think the field saw him stink against the Kings last night, but we got him as the top value play on DK and FanDuel, so maybe that's your guy. Plays the same position as Toppin too, so yeah, Missy Matkovich. Yeah, guys, again, keep your eye on the news. It's going to be very important tonight. Keep your eye on lineups, just as important as the news sometimes. But again, really appreciate everyone. Check the links in the description below. If you're not a member of Occupy Fantasy, you should be. One of the cheapest data providers in the industry. We got a Discord behind the paywall. We got a lineup builder for those that are looking to get into MME. We got evergreen content helping you become better players, including contest selection, all that good stuff. But yeah, the model updates in real time. So as this news comes in, it quickly changes here. You'll see ownership adjust. You'll see our ratings adjust, value, all the good stuff. So by the time lock comes around, you'll be in a much better place. But as always, appreciate everyone. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and enjoy the break. But first, let's crush and make some money tonight. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.